At the risk of sounding like an old man who says, back in the day, we used to go out and play in the streets, and kids these days, they only want to play video games. The truth of this, back in the day, we went out in the streets and we played all the time, and it's impossible to see kids doing the same thing today. So I hate being the grouchy old guy, but the truth is we had a blast growing up. I lived in a neighborhood, Bloomwood Road, and on Bloomwood Road, you would play, during baseball season, we played over the line in the street. During basketball season, we played basketball on Richie Waswasser's driveway, who was my next door neighbor. During football season, we played touch football in the street. We played wiffle ball in my front yard. We actually had trees at the other end of the street, across the street, that were our foul poles, and we nicknamed our little wiffle ball stadium Mickey Mantle Stadium. So literally every day of the year, all year round, we were playing sports in front of our house. And it was just a wonderful place to grow up. But before I moved to that neighborhood, I lived on another block on 27th and Walker next to this thing called the Gulley. Anybody who grew up in that neighborhood will know what I'm talking about. It was this huge field, and it was called the Gulley because it literally was a gully. It was like a small valley. And we used to go in there and we would ride our bikes, and somebody built a motocross path where you'd ride down a hill and there'd be a jump at the end, and you'd jump, and people would be out there flying around on their bikes, just racing each other. Every day, it was just, some kids would actually, who were even above that, would bring out their little motorcycles and ride their motorcycles on the thing. And those were just really great times. For me personally, even though I did like riding my bike on the dirt paths that they had, the part I really liked about the Gulley is after it would rain, the whole gully would fill with water. And then what we would do is we would take old mattresses or boards, anything we could find, and we would make rafts. And it was very Tom Sawyer-like. We would literally take these little rafts and sail them across this pond, and using a stick to kind of propel us from the bottom. And we'd come home, and I know if my kids came home today the way I came home, I think I'd kill them. There'd be mud, water drenched. It was just, we were a mess. But it was the best fun we ever had. We would take up in the trees, we built tree houses. We took ropes and we swung them like Tarzan. My cousin actually ended up in the emergency room one day because he swung and the branch broke, and then he landed on some branch and punctured him, almost killed him. But it was stuff like that. There was always an adventure. My same cousin, Cousin Val, they actually bought our house when we moved. And so after I moved out and they moved in, we started making go-karts in his garage. And we would take old big wheel wheels and turn them into go-karts. And we would use like a flat piece of wood and put wheels on each side, use ropes as our steering, and we'd go down these huge hills in White Point and Point Furman. I mean, hurtling down full speed. Can't tell you how many times we crashed. I still have a scar right here from scraping up my thumb on the cement on one of those crashes. But no matter how many times we crashed, we didn't care. We'd get up and go do it again. And then the other thing about those go-karts is we would come screaming down the hill, and we would get to the bottom where there was, like, we would run stop signs and cars are like swerving to miss us. And I don't know, we were just lucky to survive those times. But I have to tell you that if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing. Those were such wonderful times and great opportunities and great memories of just being able to go out and play with your friends. And every day was an adventure. And I can't think of a better childhood than the ones we had when we were growing up here in San Pedro.